This podcast series is brought to you by World of Coffee Dubai and DXB Live. Expand your specialty coffee brand into the fastest growing specialty coffee market in the world by becoming an exhibitor at the next World of Coffee Dubai in 2024. I will be there, so head to worldofcoffeedubai.com and join the mailing list to get notified when booth registrations become available. Check the show notes for further details. Kim Thompson from Raw Coffee here in Dubai. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward. Before we get started, folks, I just want to mention Anna Cafe and Guatemala Coffee. They are sponsors of World of Coffee Dubai, and we just want to thank them for being a part of creating this amazing show. Thank you for being here, Kim. Well, I'm excited about having a really great conversation.
I'm looking forward to this.
We've been talking to a lot of different people on the podcast. We've been talking to people who are locals. We've been here in Dubai as well as Saudi Arabia. And we've been talking to people who are newly expats. You are not newly an expat. This is life. This is home.
It's 28 years next month. Yeah.
Wow.
It went fast.
Did it?
Yeah, really fast.
So tell everyone what you do, because you are a trailblazer in the definition of trailblazing here in Dubai in specialty coffee.
So I moved to Dubai with my family and we used to sail. So I opened a cafe in the sailing club. And as I really struggled to find good coffee, and I'm originally a New Zealander, and we support owner-operated businesses. So small businesses, like you would go to a bakery or a butcher and you'd go and get your coffee.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find a supply here that offered the quality that I was looking for back then, and also no support, no training, no maintenance, nothing. So when they were building the Dubai Marina, the sailing club got demolished and had to move. My children, my 3 daughters, were getting older, and I had the time and I wanted to do something. So I have family in New Zealand that used to have cafes and roast, and I thought I would try roasting. So we just celebrated our 15-year anniversary a few months ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it started very small, and I made mistakes about where I built the first roastery.
Okay.
It wasn't close enough to where people could come and drink coffee with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gone very quickly, 15 years. It's crazy. And we were the first specialty roastery, and I think in all my naivety, because that's purely what it was,
so say all of us.
Yeah. I feel really lucky that I chose to play in the niche at the top with specialty.
Yeah.
And originally our pillars were organic, fair trade, and fresh.
Organic, fair trade, and fresh.
Yeah. And thinking that meant better quality at the time.
Okay.
So I learnt it doesn't, and changed the pillars a few years in. And the first 5 years were purely learning about everything in the industry, and we really didn't trade very much because it was very slow to take off.
Was it slow to take off because there wasn't the consumer, or was it because there wasn't the marketing? What do you think?
We had no budget for marketing. We didn't even have a website at the beginning. So I
love that.
But that was a different world back in the day. But I think the consumer had a much lower expectation of what they would buy, like great big American size 16-ounce cups, so they thought we were trying to cheat them, giving them an 8-ounce cup, for example. I remember, the milk would be boiled.
Piping hot.
Yeah, crazy. And I think it was way before people cared about, ethically sourced or single origin.
Yeah.
Everyone added sugar. So yeah, it's evolved very quickly, actually.
Have you, in doing that, I kind of know the answer to this, but I do want to bring it into the conversation, because you didn't just focus on building a roastery and a cafe. You also were part of building the industry, training center, certification.
We're a premier SCA training centre, and I think we're very busy with training. On the weekends, people fly in to train, and from different MENA countries, they'll come and they'll be opening up, a cafe or a roastery themselves. We try to focus on sensory and real skills, not latte art, that type of thing. I think knowledge for us is our success.
And you are aware of the industry all over the world.
Yep, we're self-financed, so we've grown very organically. I have a business partner who joined me in year 3 who is also from New Zealand, also used to the same type of, I know it sounds crazy, but New Zealand and Australia have great coffee.
Yeah,
and
but New Zealand has the most bakeries in the world.
Yeah, exactly. You'll find Kiwis in most coffee industries around the world.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, we would go to the trade shows, and then we realized we wanted to take the roasting really seriously.
Yeah.
And it was pre, Cropster or IT support. So you had to learn hands-on everything. And we realized that actually trade shows didn't add value to our business. We're not here exhibiting, and I'm sorry, but we're not. I'm here to have a look around. I'm really keen to see what's going on. But with our money, we have to be really careful where we spend it. So we were at the World of Coffee last year, and we loved it. But the money we spent on that last year, this year we've designed new packaging. We've created new retail space for our own, facility, which was a better investment in our company. And instead, we spend the money on going to origin to strengthen our supply chain.
I love that.
And our relationships with our farmers to let them know, how valuable and important they are to us.
And the industry has shifted significantly.
Significantly.
Right. I want to have an uncomfortable conversation with you.
Go for it.
And for our listeners, this is going to be an uncomfortable part of the conversation, so I just want to prep you guys for that. We're going to have a conversation about when World of Coffee was supposed to come to Dubai.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
I alternated between crying and just filled with so much rage. And I felt very helpless because we're trying to grow an industry down here.
Yeah.
And there's so many really invested, cool people that have been working silently behind the scenes to try and get recognised as an area that is on the map for specialty coffee.
Yeah. Shout out to Khalid Al Mullah.
Absolutely.
He is the champion of specialty coffee here. Yep. And is there someone else you wanted to mention?
Oh, actually, everyone that's been involved.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that have been involved. And, they're all busy people.
Yep.
So they don't...
It's all volunteer work, right?
It's all volunteer work. And I think, for us, and we have friends in Saudi Arabia with businesses, it's actually incredibly arrogant to think that you can exclude a region just because you think that maybe it's disadvantaging. You think because it's not true. Yeah. It is not true. It was such a biased, unbalanced, incorrect article that Sprudge wrote, and and it was obviously to benefit other areas. You see countries like South Korea, which good on them, but they also have the same laws and the same restrictions.
Yep.
And yet they didn't. I think it's you can only assume Islam scares them, and as a region they are also very unread when they think they know how we live down here.
Yep.
I have many friends who are of different gender types and married and live a very fulfilling, happy life down here. And that article was just devastating because and I'm still angry about it, actually. And I'm so pleased that we've got World of Coffee. And Khalid and the team, they have worked quietly. And people think we bought it. We didn't buy it. We deserve to have World of Coffee here.
They have worked their asses off to make this happen.
Absolutely. And the quality of what we have down here in the specialty coffee, I think, again, it's saturated as a market because our population is 10 point something million.
Yeah.
80% expatriate.
Yeah.
We're all living here by choice. We've come here because we like living here.
Yeah.
I love living here.
I have to tell you, Kim, this is one of the most extraordinary cities.
Oh, it's so vibrant.
Oh, and look, I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, and this is the new Los Angeles.
And with my my children are women now.
Yeah.
And, we sent them for their last couple of years to boarding school in Australia, where my husband's from, my ex-husband. And we really wanted them to have a connection to where we are from.
Right.
They all came back here. They love it here.
Yeah, wow.
My daughter is married to the most beautiful Emirati man.
Yeah.
This is home. I love it here.
Yeah.
And I will defend it, loudly.
Yeah.
I'm pleased that we now have the ability to have events like this here. And I think if anyone is seriously looking at where they travel and where they want to go and drink good coffee, we have to be on the map now.
I not only do I agree with you, the thing that my eyes have been opened to while I've been here is if the rest of the world doesn't engage in this region, this region is going to take over
completely.
Specialty coffee
completely
globally.
Absolutely. And it's authentic. It's
Yeah.
genuine. It's well deserved. We are geographically located in a very, very good position. We're close to a lot of the growing countries. Yes, our trip sort of probably summer this year because our summers are pretty hot. They're great for cold coffee.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of destination places. But our trips this year, we're hoping to go to Guatemala to meet with the farms that we source from, and to Mexico because we've just found a new partner in Mexico with an indigenous
Awesome.
community. It's small, but it really has a fantastic story. So, I think Emirates and Etihad as airlines have tried to take on Hong Kong and Singapore for transit travel for around the world, and they've done it. They've done it very well. So, people, if they're wanting to travel anywhere and they're wanting to stop, I don't think it's naive for us to believe that this is going to become a destination, and Saudi Arabia is too.
100%. I feel like Saudi is doing what Dubai started doing 10 years ago.
They are.
And they're going to do it much quicker than
They
what
are.
Dubai... I mean, what has
And
happened
bigger,
here?
louder.
Yep. The
Yeah.
line.
Yep.
Al-Ula, all of these different cities that they're building in the middle of the desert.
But remember, they are a humongous population.
Yeah.
They are a very young population.
Yeah.
And
they've just
their
opened up.
women are now driving
Yeah.
and doing yoga and going to cafes, and they're going
starting
all the-
businesses.
They are definitely starting businesses.
Yeah.
And if we can help we like supporting other owner operators,
Yeah.
and we really, throughout the supply chain, if we can work with owner operators, that's what we do. And if there are women involved, even better. And the women down there are fierce.
Oh, and that's the
And
beautiful
very
thing
well
about
educated.
it. Yeah. People have this idea in the West that Saudi women, Emirati women, are just sitting at home, buying their Louis Vuitton handbags and just doing nothing. No, these women have been spending their time getting educated, getting degrees, doing all of these things, and then they were ready when the country opened up.
Yep.
I was hearing from a lot of
here
them.
in Sharjah, there is a Sharjah University, in the women's university down there. The amount of young women that are coming out as qualified engineers, and they're working, and they are so worldly and travelled and clever
And opinionated, and they have ideas,
Yes.
and they want to.
Yes.
They know they can't be stopped now.
And they are our target consumer.
Yeah.
It's not the
I love that.
It's not the older expat.
Yeah.
It's the young Emirati women.
There's
They're incredible.
We had a series on the podcast last year with a local Emirati, Fatima El-Kitbi. And Fatima is a specialty coffee consumer. She's not in the industry yet. And she was talking about how she approaches specialty coffee, and it was really fascinating because she has a specialty coffee bag that she carries with her with all her coffees and her brewing equipment. And she was telling us how when she goes to cafes, if the barista's not doing it properly, she will tell them, and she will tell them how to fix it. And we had dinner with the guys from Cartel in Abu Dhabi last night.
Yeah.
And they were telling us, like, here, consumers, the Emirati consumers are so highly skilled in brewing coffee at home that they can teach baristas.
Well, we had a young lady who won our UAE AeroPress competition and went on to get fourth. And she's not a professional. She's a home brewer.
It's wild.
And had only picked an AeroPress up a few weeks before that. But their attention to detail, they have the time. And actually that's where, COVID, while it was quite a big challenge, as a business owner.
Yeah.
Was actually quite a positive thing for us as a company, because we had the luxury to pause, look at what we were not doing well, address it, make some big changes. We started some new companies to fill gaps because we had the time, and 80% of our business at that stage was B2B, so we lost that overnight. But then our B2C grew by 400%. So our wheels nearly fell off, because suddenly we're making, a couple of hundred deliveries a day, but only 500 grams, not, not like the kilos going to a cafe.
Yeah.
So we had to rebuild our business over COVID, and really sadly, some of our really, we tend to appeal as a partner to owner operators as well, because of the support we offer. Yeah.
And the experience that comes with that support. It's not support of like, hey, we're going to pour money into you and we're going to just be there for you, whatever you need. They benefit from your history and your experience, your failures, your successes, your knowledge, all of it.
And the other, we link them in with the other partners that we've found who can supply, other things that they need that isn't just coffee. But I think our water knowledge is the best in the region, because we really struggle here with the quality of water.
My clients are telling me that all the time. That TDS every day, the spectrum is wildly different.
And so we needed to find a solution for ourselves, and the solutions that were here were inferior, and there was no support. They didn't come to change filters. They didn't do the maintenance. So we couldn't, in all good faith, we want our coffee delivered as well as we deliver it wherever you go and drink it. So, you have to train the staff. We have our own technicians to manage the equipment, but the water quality, the chlorides in the water are so high now that you need very, very good water treatment. Otherwise, your equipment's going to fail and the coffee's going to taste better. So, it's devastating to invest that money into building a cafe, and then through water, which you can't see, it's happening quietly behind the scenes.
I know this story so well with Elixir.
Yeah.
Because
yes, you would.
You can taste
it's the main ingredient.
It's the main ingredient, and Elixir is so it makes the coffee so accessible in a very nuanced kind of way.
Yes.
And because of that, the water has to be a partner to the coffee. It's not the
it's a very, very, very important ingredient. I think we did a study last week, because we were looking at, we've just changed milk suppliers actually, which is a huge thing for us.
Yeah.
We'd been working with Almarai and really happy with it. And then a new company, a very big company started that was actually, we didn't know, quietly the supplier to Almarai here, because Almarai is a Saudi business. Yeah. And it has much higher butterfat content, which makes your coffee taste better.
It's delicious. It's fatty and creamy.
Yeah. And so it was more like the flavours that we would find at home.
Like New Zealand milk. I was just thinking that.
A lot of the guys that run the dairy farms here are Irish.
Oh, wow.
So, it's really good quality. We actually went out and visited and saw the cows were healthy, happy, and that was really important to us too. We wanted to make sure that. So we, for the last 15 years, we've known that 80% of our customers drink their coffee with milk. And we've been really trying to shift consumer behaviour. Yeah. So now we're looking at 60% of our customers drinking their coffee with milk. So it's been slow and steady. But, to move someone away and get them onto a nice brewed coffee of a single origin, it takes time.
Yeah.
And energy. And I think now also we have 15% of our milk-based customers drinking non-dairy milk. So we use an oat milk.
Yeah, wow.
So there's a lot moving. It's very interesting, actually.
It's really interesting. I went to a cafe, which will remain unnamed, here, and they flat out said, we don't do alternative milks. It's like they wear it as a badge of honor, and they don't do sugar. And that kind of pompous bravado,
absolutely,
that should have been left in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Because the world is changing, folks.
Absolutely. Well, I think we had to get over ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not going to swear, but yeah,
you can swear. This is everyone who's listening to you is laughing right now at you saying.
we had to get over ourselves because we used to be a little bit, and some of our early customers, they would only heat their milk to 60 degrees and they didn't have sugar and all that sort of thing, and they lost loyal customers because of their attitude. And I think,
well, it's arrogance, isn't it? Right?
Well, I think that's a customer who's paid for a product.
Yeah. And
so they can have it however they want.
Exactly. When you as a business turn around and say you can only have your coffee this way, you're immediately saying to the consumer, what you want doesn't matter.
I really, we have, I guess because of our age, like we're not hip, we're not, the new brands that are here. Uh-huh. So we call them our tribe. We have really loyal customers that come in. A lot of them come in every day. And you have to ensure, even if you're like leading the market, you have to ensure that you keep ahead of trends. Yep. And you have to acknowledge and recognize the experience the consumer has and know who they are, because if someone wants to come and sit in the same seat and have the same drink at the same time, that's fine. Yep. But if it's someone that you can guide and introduce one of your new origins as they come in and it's fresh and you're really excited about it and they're open to it, that's really exciting, because they then get your energy and they tell other people and they bring in friends. So, it's a game. It's a fun game.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I have definitely noticed about the coffees that I've been drinking in Dubai is that they are preceded by an experience.
Yes.
And that is something that I think a lot of cafes are trying to achieve in other regions of the world, certainly in Sydney and in Melbourne. But they rest so heavily on the product and the consumer understanding the product that they're dismissing the importance of the experience.
Yes.
And here in Dubai, I see the effortless kind of the effortless effort that goes into the experience. You walk into a cafe
and you are effortless. It's really hard.
No, what I mean by passive is the word.
Yes.
That I mean.
Oh, the expectation of the consumer here is very high across the board.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not playing in hotels. We're not playing with tourists. We are playing with locals. And that's 80% of our population here are expatriates. So our consumers come from everywhere in the world, but they live here. And then we have a strong Emirati customer base. Yep. But there are a lot of new businesses. Like I think there's something like 360 coffee roasters in the UAE.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can see on the DED with the licenses. Some are smaller, hobby playing. A lot of the new businesses are locally Emirati owned, and there is a lot of support for them from the Emirati population, because they're proud of their country and they love coffee and they've got a long, history with coffee. But again, they're also, I believe, we used to say that the consumer here was a good 5 years behind in knowledge. They're not now.
Anymore.
We're ahead of the ball here now.
Oh,
and if I go home to New Zealand or other countries, I'm very careful about where I drink coffee now, because my expectation is very high, and I will drink tea rather than drinking a bad cup of coffee.
I love that.
Or have a beer.
Well,
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that really surprised me. We went out last night to Time Out in Dubai Mall.
Oh, isn't it fantastic?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And everybody's drinking.
Yep.
Everyone's smoking inside. The light shows that were going on, everyone was having a fantastic time.
And there are hundreds and hundreds of places you can go to. You don't need to go to the same place twice unless you have a good experience. Yeah. And the people that are customer facing, they're coming from, India, Nepal, Philippines, Kenya, Uganda. Yeah. We have such a multicultural. I think we've got 18 different nationalities in our business.
Wow.
And it's amazing. And they all bring heritage, and they are incredibly good at customer service. They just need the knowledge and the empowerment,
And then you
to
let
be able
them
to
go.
deliver an incredible, standard of customer service. Much better, I might add, than many places you can go to in the world who think they're good at doing it.
Well, and again, it's like arrogance disguised as elitism.
Yep.
So,
World's changing.
well, and I'm excited about what's going to happen here.
Yeah, no, me too.
I'm excited about the moment we pave the path. Like, all that needs to happen here is time.
Yep. Well, you look how quickly it's evolved. Like,
It was very quick.
it's very, very quick. And I think we have just launched a new blend. We actually did it on Tuesday night.
Congratulations.
For our 15-year anniversary. And we've actually called it 1551 because we like the sound of it. But it's 51 years of the UAE. It's only 51 years
I know,
old.
that's wild, isn't it?
7 Emirates, 51 years old. And you look at what they've achieved.
I went to the beach
And
the
how
other
safe it is.
Oh, that's a
It
whole
is
conversation.
I don't lock my car. I don't lock my house.
Last night at dinner, there was a table, because it's so full that you grab a seat when you can at this place.
Yes.
People had left their phones on the table.
Well, they do to hold their
to
bags.
hold the
In
seat.
the supermarkets, you
Everything's
see that as
just
well.
left there
Yeah.
while people have gone to go and find a stall of food that they want to eat.
So I have friends from New Zealand who are up here seeing their family. He's Indian, she's Kiwi, and his parents are still here. They went down to Abu Dhabi to do a kayaking trip through the mangroves the other day, and Steph left her phone accidentally on the table. It got couriered back to her. They were able to call the office, find out where, someone said, oh yeah, it got handed in. Like, it is so, it's so safe. There is very little theft, and they catch them very quickly if there is. It's a very, very nice country to have a business in.
Well, and that's why when the Sprudge article came out, I was so angry, because as an Arab who lives in Australia and was living in America at the time, I knew that this was a mistake. I know what it is to be in the Middle East. I know that it is safe. I know that the respect for other people is huge.
Yeah.
And I know the hospitality is immense.
Yeah.
And the opportunity that we were losing as an industry by not doing this then meant that we were going to lose, not the Emirates.
No.
Not the Middle East.
It actually just made us more determined. I'm driven by, I'm not going to not succeed in my company, in my business. And I want to be part of growing this region and making sure it's hugely successful. And it will be, because,
great.
That I actually think if they had the chance, because Sarah's been down here, I've had been with her when she came in the early days, because I competed in the early competitions as a bursa, which I'm so embarrassed about.
No.
God, I didn't win. I got second, and it would have just been so embarrassing. But if you're gonna, I didn't want any of my guys to ever do what I wasn't prepared to do myself.
Right. I love that as a leader.
But
I love that.
now I'm more comfortable speaking. But at the beginning, my tongue used to swell, and my eye used to twitch, and it was just so.
You'd never know it now.
But 15 years is a long time.
Yeah. Putting yourself out there, trying things, leading by doing.
And I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Ain't that delicious?
It is so good. Yeah, it really is. I think, it would have been nice if maybe they paused and apologized, but it's too late now.
Well, now the benefits are being reaped by the region, and I think that
we actually had to work really hard even to be allowed to have a chapter here.
Yeah.
Really hard. They didn't even want that. And I know we were ahead, with Saudi being able to get it done, and even being able to have AeroPress national competitions and stuff. It was ridiculous.
Well, and
racist.
It's hypocritical.
Completely.
Given that that's a constant conversation that's being had over there with this publication about diversity this and diversity that. But Yet the Middle East, every time they apply for visas to go to America and Australia and whatnot, they're constantly denied. No. And so you're going to exclude a region that has been trying to come to you constantly.
You know, this is a very big problem for a lot of the competitions because we've had baristas that have won nationals and we haven't been able to get visas for them to compete in the Worlds.
That's the problem.
And whether that's Europe or America.
Right. And so if you can see that there's a problem, people who want to come to SCA and Expo and go to other places.
I know they try to support it, but you know, you think of a lot of the countries that are competing now didn't always compete.
Yeah. Yeah, and
we're not third world by any stretch of the imagination.
Please come. If you think that this is the third world, please come here and be prepared to be shocked.
Completely shocked. And you know, it's not all glitz, it's not all gold, it's not all 5-star, it's not all you can stay in really cool places. We've just actually been listed on a new platform called Ecomatic, which is for green travelers, you know, people looking where they want to spend their money in environmentally ethically run business, sustainability, that type of thing. So there's a lot more travelers starting to come here that aren't staying in the 5-star hotels and staying in, and they're learning about the culture. They're getting to see, you know, the historical trade that used to happen here and
awesome. But if you do want to stay in 5-star,
they're beautiful.
Everything's beautiful
here. It's so beautiful.
So Kim, before we wrap up, tell us about Raw Coffee and tell us where we can find Raw Coffee online.
We are in, it's an industrial area that it used to be.
Is
really
it a free
funny.
zone?
No. We're in a manufacturing industrial area, and I think people used to be scared their cars, if they drove in there, were going to get rocked by little brown men because it's full on industrial. Oh, wow. And we're there because it was cheaper rent and we needed a lot of space. We've got 13,500 square meters. It's now part of an area that's being rezoned for
gentrification.
Yeah, well, more for the creative space. It's a creative zone.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there's Alsakal and a few other beautiful art gallery areas. We're right by a metro stop. It's a big warehouse with a cafe, and you can see us roasting. We have the training centre and school. But we have fun. We've got really good music playing. We've got a good cafe, and we do about 800 to 1,000 cups of coffee on a Saturday and a Sunday on the weekend here.
I accidentally visited your cafe the other day. But you had a private function going 2 nights ago, 3 nights ago.
You should have said hello.
Yeah, well,
it was a very big night, actually. We had a good night.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that
was an event. We decided to do an event about quality and sustainability because we've got lots of suppliers and partners we work with that are here in town for the event that have flown in and everything. Yeah. And we wanted to discuss whether you can have quality without sustainability, whether the two are interconnected. And it was so interesting because we had these panelists of, you know, different people from around the world. And we ended up coming to the conclusion that quality and sustainability are interrelated and dependent on relationships, communication, respect and trust. Who would have thought that they were the 4 key elements that everyone, it was the audience that, you know, came up with these.
I love that.
Yeah, it was lots of fun.
Your cafe's gorgeous.
Thank you.
It's big and it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. And it's in a part of town that feels a little bit like Venice Beach. Yeah,
it's like a meat packer zone sort of place.
Yeah. So I'm going to come there sometime
Please
before I
do,
leave.
and I'll
Absolutely.
show you around. And thank you very much for inviting me.
It's my pleasure.
I love what you do.
Thank you so much.
Keep asking the difficult questions.
and thanks for being so open about your thoughts.
You're welcome.
On this. It's nice to be able to have had that conversation on an open.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much. Peace, love and peanut butter, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day and stay tuned for our next guest, Garfield. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.